We are saddened to report to you tonight that Tehachapi teen Seth Walsh died today. The family says he was taken off life support system sometime this afternoon. Walsh attempted suicide at his home more than a week ago.
Especially gay and lesbian teen suicide, because it's just way out of whack. It's very disproportionate in terms of non-gay teen suicides. I'm tired of life, really. It's so hard. I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore.
An Ottawa teen suicide is putting the spotlight back on school bullying and depression.
This month alone, there have been a shocking number of news stories about teens who have been teased and bullied and then committed suicide, like 13-year-old Seth Walsh in Tehachapi, California, 13-year-old Asher Brown in Cypress, Texas, and 15-year-old Billy Lucas in Greensburg, Indiana.
Leila Alcorn's story is one we have heard before. It's one we've been upset by before. She was 17 years old, anguished, ostracized, and finally took her own life.
But I would just say that gay teen suicide rate is 4 times higher than the straight teen suicide rate.
Look, tonight, one of the worst stories we've seen in a while. 18-year-old Tyler Clementi, freshman at Rutgers University in New Jersey, committed suicide by jumping off the George Washington Bridge last week.
One survey actually suggests that 40% of transgender youth have attempted suicide.
But what this speaks to is a larger, and I would say a silent epidemic of bullying going on across the country of gay teens.
He was gay and out, and he was bullied at school because of his sexual orientation.
Any vulnerable group, and gays are very vulnerable, okay, is going to be targeted by these kinds of people.
Hi, my name is Taylor Wood. I'm a senior at Ukaipa High School.
I'm Chance Mitchell, and I am a senior. I'm gay.
I'm Tanner Doro. I'm a senior, and I'm straight.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm a senior, and I'm a pansexual, and I'm fabulous.
My name is Mason Eldridge, and I'm a senior at Ukaipa High School.
I'm Elias. I'm a senior, and I'm gay.
Hi, I'm Jenna Boyce. I'm a senior at Ukaipa High School, and I identify as straight.
My name is Angela Liu, aka Angie. I'm a senior, and I am gay.
I'm Henry. I'm a senior, and I am gay.
Four minutes ago.
I didn't really decide it. Just kind of figured it out around like 6th grade-ish.
I would say since I was born.
I think that I always knew, for me, just as well as other people, you kind of just know your sexuality.
Well, in kindergarten, I had a crush on a few girls, but I just thought, you know, it was a normal thing.
I never really decided. It was kind of just a thing that's always happened.
I've been straight my entire life. I didn't decide anything.
When I decided to be straight after, I always thought that like women were attractive, of course, but having that my parents are lesbian and now they're legitimately lesbian, as in like married, it made me rethink my sexuality a little bit, but I found out that I just like felt that myself, I was just still straight, and that wasn't going to be changing. They didn't really care much. They just said like, you know, you do you, and that's it.
It wasn't positive.
Okay, I've never told them. Okay, my mom knows, but I didn't necessarily tell her.
They didn't really care because it's not a big deal.
My dad told me that the information I gave him about my sexuality was all made up and it was just from Tumblr.
Only my mom knows, and she's pretty okay with it. She knew all the struggles that come with having a sexuality different from being straight, and she didn't want any of her kids to go through that.
We were talking for a little bit, and then we stopped talking, and then I got really upset about it, and I didn't tell anyone, so like I was really like depressed, and one day I was like crying hysterically, and my mom came in my room and was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I love him," and like I said it out loud, and that's how she knew I was gay. So.
And then later when I brought it up again, he said he honestly didn't care about it at all, and the only thing he cared about in my life was my education.
Just like in our culture today, they didn't react at all, really. I mean, Coming from the family I do as a straight person, my family tends to be more conservative in those ideals than I am, so they just kind of always expected it, so there wasn't really any reaction.
I haven't officially told them, but they know parts of it, but they refuse to accept it.
Not very well.
I think as a whole, they're kind of okay with it.
Not bad at all, I guess. Like, no one's really like discriminated against me or anybody that I know that's gay.
What I've seen, they've been treated pretty equally, but I know that they probably face a lot of obstacles that I'm not always there to see.
I see a lot of non-tolerance with them, but you know, that's just how it is with today's society. Like, kids don't really understand whether it's religion or whatever. So.
We don't really get a lot of hate. I think the most hate that I've ever got was on the internet, on Instagram.
I've seen people get bullied like that.
Just like really weird stares.
When you identify as something other than straight or your gender, I know that there obviously are a lot of problems that friends that I know have probably gone through that I haven't experienced.
It just really depends what crowd I'm hanging out with. My teammates have been really accepting this year, and it's amazing.
I mean, I've been called names before.
Yeah, plenty of times actually.
At church, yes.
No one has ever physically attacked me, but someone, like, people like say like weird. I've gotten in a fight with this girl before because she like yelled at me and was like saying something about liking boys and like that's her job or something, and I was like, it's go ahead, my boyfriend's cuter than yours will ever be, and that was how that ended.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely.
It's really a safety issue.
We're taught about sex between a male and a female, and how they're supposed to be protected, so why not between a female and a female and a male and a male? Same thing.
Yeah, plus if they did teach it in school, I think it would be more generally accepted. When you're taught about things and like things are kind of introduced into the system, it kind of, throughout generations, it'll kind of become normal.
I mean, it can be like a topic that can be brought up. It shouldn't have to be like a main discussion, because that some people's families, like, they're taught like that's not the way that they should grow up, and like that can like ruin other people's families. And
kind of where you find out who you like who you're gonna be the rest of your life. And so if people think they can't come out and say who they are, then they'll be too scared to do it.
Lots of people are gay. It's not like 1 in every 1 trillion people is. It's a very common thing.
Homosexuality health classes, I don't think it has anything to do with your health. I mean, you learn about like a woman's body and a man's body, but I don't think you should talk about, like, it doesn't really matter, but I don't think that it really concerns anyone's health.
I feel like it should be, because if you're able to learn about like STDs, why keep you sheltered from the entire world? Your kid's gonna know about it like somehow.
I do think homosexuality should be talked about in health classes, just like any taboo topic that there's been throughout history. As time goes on, it's more and more, it's less taboo, I guess I could say. So as homosexuality has become specifically socially and legally more acceptable, I do think that it's a more prevalent topic, and that something like this should definitely be discussed in health class.
Totally. How STDs are transmitted, a lot of gay kids think they're not prone to getting one of those, and they should learn how to have proper protection, and it would benefit a lot of youth.
I get kind of angry because it's not really like a phase. Like,
really say that unless you've been there and done that. You can't just say that about somebody's life.
When people say being gay is just a phase, you have some people where it really is a phase, but some people, they take that really to heart.
For people that would say it's just a phase, I can honestly say that for me, it's been just a phase since I was like 6 or 7 years old. It's not something you grow out of, it's a part of who you are, and no matter how much you try to push it away, it's not like you're gonna ever become something else. You always are that person.
When I was younger, I would always think about it, and I was like, no, I'm probably just I'm a boy, so I probably just look at other boys like, oh, I'll be like that. But I realized that once I got older, like, I found them, like, attractive and, like, I wanted them, not instead of, like, a girl.
I know how, like, being with the guy feels, and being with the girl just completely, it's not a phase. It feels right.
It's not just a phase that I like boys, so it's obviously not going to be a phase for somebody who likes girls. You can't help how you feel.
I definitely think some people may go through questioning periods in their life where they may go through certain phases, but for the most part I think when somebody definitely embraces their sexuality, it's not a phase. And so while some people may go through those questioning times, I think for the most part you pretty much know your sexuality.
I honestly think those people are ignorant because they honestly don't know how it is to go through something like this.
I don't think that's real, and they don't understand what people are going through.
It's not a choice, because if I could, I would totally try to change, but I can't.
While I do think that there are people who go through questioning phases in their life, overall I don't think your sexuality or your gender is a choice. I truly believe that you're born feeling a certain way and you're going to feel that way the rest of your life.
I mean, you can't really change the way people think. People will believe whatever they want to believe, especially if they're stubborn. But when it comes down to it, it's not, and whether they choose to accept that way of thinking or not, it's up to them.
If I kind of just like started to accept it more and more, like, it's not a choice that I made to be gay, because if I would, I wouldn't choose it, really, because it's harder to deal with.
Growing up, I always heard gays are going to hell, fags are disgusting, just everything a typical religious family would say, and it's not a choice. I didn't want to be bullied like that.
I think they're wrong.
Some people say you're born with it, and that's kind of like what I think, because when I was younger, I already knew, like, my cousin would put me in dresses, and I would run around and I wouldn't care, and then, like, that's when everybody used to call me, they used to call me Twinkle Toes, because I was wearing a Tinkerbell dress. So.
It's not a choice. Did you choose to like boys? No, you didn't. Did you choose to like girls? No, you didn't.
There's, like, times where I wouldn't mind, because, like, it's less stress to deal with.
No. Jesus loves you.
No.
Yeah. Totally. Like, if I could, but it just doesn't work.
Never. I like being gay.
I am gay. I'm not attracted to men. I wouldn't choose to be attracted to men. No.
The whole thing about how a lesbian couple is a man and a woman, or a gay couple is a man and a woman. I mean, if you're in a gay relationship being men, you're both men, and if you're in a lesbian relationship, you're both women.
All gay men are provocative, or they don't really want to be in a stable relationship.
That gay guys like every straight guy that they see, because that's probably the most annoyingest thing ever. Because no boy has, like, standards. I have standards, and none of these boys meet them.
The stereotype that I absolutely hate is being called, like, too femme to be gay. Like, sure, I have long hair, but it doesn't mean I'm not gay.
One stereotype about straight males I wish would go away is that we're not all mean and homophobes.
That if you're gay, you automatically like every single boy, and if you're a lesbian, that you automatically like every single girl.
That we can't have kids. Yeah, that it's not like a proper environment for like two males to raise a child or two females, and that they will ultimately come out gay, which is totally not true.
Basically just the stereotypical gay boy as being really flamboyant and really feminine, while obviously there are feminine and flamboyant gay males. There are also very masculine and not as flamboyant gay males, and so basically that stereotype, and also the butch stereotype that goes along with lesbian girls. Overall, I just wish the stereotypes of one person being a certain way would go away.
I've used that before. I mean,
I actually can take that as a joke.
I honestly don't like when people use gay as a derogatory term. I think they should find something else.
It makes me feel like, you know, since my parents are both they're lesbian, it's a lesbian couple. I'm like, well, that kind of hurts a little bit.
I feel like it's just words. Most people who use that actually don't have a problem with gay kids. They just use it because it's just another word, it's another slang, and I don't really take offense to it.
All the time. I'm one of those kids at school, if I hear you say fag, I will turn around and say, excuse me, what did you just say? And my friends always tell me just back off, but no, I absolutely hate gay slurs.
Yes, I do try to speak out as much as possible. Nobody is perfect, and I can't say that I've always 100% stood up.
I won't really comment about it, but if they use it excessively, I'll open my mouth about it.
Deliberately saying things like, oh, gay people should all burn in hell, then it's just like, well, why you gotta say that, man? And then they like, oh, they don't think you're gonna say anything about it, but usually when you say something, they'll stop.
But as much as possible, I really do try to stop the use, particularly of the word faggot.
I feel like when people say it, it's mostly like straight boys who aren't really like meaning it as in like a derogatory way. They're kind of just like saying it because they're like oblivious to what it does to other people.
Like those people are ignorant. They don't realize sometimes it could be harmful, and it's just not okay.
I hate it. It makes me feel like those people are, I know it sounds rude, but uneducated, because they're using a completely wrong term. Like gay means that you love somebody of the same gender as you. That would be like me saying, oh, I like your shirt, it's so horizontal. Like it's not completely related.
No, not at all. Like, I mean, unless, actually no, there's no unless.
It does not affect straight people in any way.
No. 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 No.
I think that straight people shouldn't care whether a gay person gets married or not. I mean, marriage is a religious preference, and not being able to get married if you're gay is, it's suppression of, you're being suppressed by religion. I mean, you should be able to get married if you want to, whether you're gay or straight.
No.
Pretty much just taking away someone's human right to be themselves, and that's a terrible, terrible, and sad thing.
Like what my uncle said is like what happens behind closed doors is their business. So like if in my home, like it's not gonna affect their home at all. Like they're finding a way to come in and disrupt other people's happiness.
I don't think gay marriage affects straight people in any way, because I don't think straight marriage affects gay marriage. Otherwise, straight parents would not have gay kids.
Society has been taught that it's morally and ethically wrong.
Because of what the Bible says and being ignorant.
And people are changing, society is changing, and I feel like people are really scared of that change.
I mean, it's perfectly natural in nature. We're the only species who are against homosexuals.
I feel like most people say it because of the Bible, and like after that started going, like more people just kind of like tagged on, like they all just thought like men and women should be together and not a boy, but they don't really understand like how it feels to be gay.
I think for the most part, like everything else, people tend to be against things they don't really understand. I know a lot of people speak out against homosexuality because of their religion, but then there are a lot of people who overall just fear something because they don't really understand on a level that other people do.
I think people are against it because they don't really understand it. It's new to them, especially for people that are in a religion, you know, their entire lives they've been taught like this is bad.
I think they're afraid of change. They were raised that way. They just don't want to see people be different from them. Really, it can be anything.
Homophobia exists because people aren't used to it, they don't understand it, and therefore are against it.
Like me and my boyfriend were the perfectly same, like it's just two boys instead of a boy and a girl.
I really think people just don't understand it. People don't realize that it isn't a choice. People just think it's that they just want to be different, so people just treat it as a phase or as a choice, and nobody really understands that it's a lifestyle that people live.
Religion, if they're their view on homosexuality would change, it would totally be accepted in society.
You know, just be tolerant. I mean, if you have a religious preference, then you know that's you, man. But just don't be prejudiced. Like, just be accepting of other people.
I think I tell every straight kid that there really isn't, just because you associate or you're an ally of the LGBTQ community does not make you any of those categories. All it means is that you're in alliance with those kids who face more problems than you do and face a more confusing life than you do. And by being an ally, you're lending a helping hand, and you're constantly there, and you're supportive, and truly you're just trying to spread equality and kindness and love.
Accept people for who they are, not for what you expect.
If you choose to be neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor.
If they wanted to, then talk to people about it, feel more open, be able to tell someone, if you are, don't worry, you can talk to me about it, just be open with everyone and accept it.
One, if they don't accept it, then they should mind their own business about what other people do with their lives.
Straight kids, I think that you should honestly just be supportive of the LGBTQ community, even if it's against your beliefs, even if it's against your religion. It's not necessarily affecting you. It's not affecting your beliefs. You don't have to fall into their practices or what they feel. It's honestly just accepting them for who they are and letting them be who they want to be. They don't tell you how to live your life, and you shouldn't tell them how to live theirs.
Straight allies, I guess thank you for showing other street people that it's okay to accept LGBT kids.
That it's a good thing to accept people in their own skin and not being hateful.
Get people and resources to help you.
I would say just don't let people get you down, and get through whatever you're going through, and just be yourself.
Take your time coming out. Don't rush it. Make sure it's the right time. Make sure you have people behind your back.
Just don't be afraid to express who you are. If it's who you are, it's who you are. No one's gonna be able to change it by the way they talk to you. It's you.
The best thing to tell them would be to find someone to share those feelings with. To find someone you trust, and ultimately someone you love, and it'll be better.
Just to persevere and hang on until you're in a situation to where you truly can be who you want to be, and just to hang on because things do get better.
They should love who they are for who they are and not worry about what jerks think.
I know they hear this a lot, but it really does get better. After time, you just start to learn to accept yourself and love yourself, and you start really not to care what other people think of you.
But a lot of kids our age are really accepting of it. Grown-ups are becoming more accepting of it, and I think come 10 years from now, it's just going to be another thing. No one's going to really look down upon it.
Be who you are and don't really care what other people think about you.
I'm there for you, wherever you are.
Support the gaybies.
Yes.